Any questions up to day 7? Day before yesterday, when we took the last session, that is day 7, the accounting equation and its implications on various transactions were discussed. So if you have any clarification to see, kindly ask me. If not, I'll continue from wherever we left yesterday.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, can you please explain me the concept of revenue recognition a little bit?
Okay, revenue recognition concept states it rather guides you a stage where the revenue should be considered as having been earned. मतलब आप वो टाइम बताता है कि जिस वक्त आप ये तय कर लें, रादर वो स्टेज बताता है जिस वक्त ये मान लें कि अब रेवेन्यू हमारा हो गया. आई गेव यू डिटेल्ड एग्जाम्पल. आई एम नाउ गिविंग यू सम अदर एग्जाम्पल. आपने बैंक में पैसा जमा किया और बैंक आपको क्वार्टरली इंटरेस्ट देता है. लेट अस से आपने 1 जनवरी में जमा किया और बैंक आपको क्वार्टरली इंटरेस्ट देता है. आपने 100 रुपये जमा किए. लेट अस एज्यूम तो उस पर क्वार्टरली इंटरेस्ट 10 रुपये है. जस्ट थियोरेटिकली एज्यूम क्वार्टरली इंटरेस्ट ऑन दैट मनी इज ₹10. तो रेवेन्यू आप कब मानेंगे उसको ₹10 को? अपने किस डेट को? जिस दिन आपने जमा किया उस दिन, एक दिन बाद, या क्वार्टर के एंड में, या 1 साल बाद.
सर जहाँ पे इनवॉइस जनरेट हो जाएगा वहाँ पे रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन हो जाएगा.
अब ठीक है, ठीक. लेकिन बैंक के केस में तो कोई इनवॉइस जनरेट हुआ नहीं.
नो सर, नॉट, यहाँ पे नहीं हुआ.
फिर आप कब मानेंगे उसको?
Sir, after the quarter.
After the quarter. Let us say on 31st March. 31st मार्च से पहले हम उसको अपना इंटरेस्ट नहीं मान सकते. इसलिए नहीं मान सकते कि वो हमने अर्न नहीं किया. अर्न हम कब करेंगे? जब वो ड्यू हो जाएगा. ड्यू कब होगा? 31st मार्च को. अगर हम इसको ऐसे करने लगे, तो हम रोज ही इसकी इंटरेस्ट की फिगर को रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. सपोज बैंक आपको इंटरेस्ट 31st मार्च को आपके अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर नहीं करती और आप अप्रैल तक पहुंच जाते हैं, मई के आखिर हो जाता, आप क्या करेंगे? हाउ विल यू रिकॉर्ड द ट्रांजैक्शन? क्योंकि ये हमारा रेवेन्यू हो गया है, तो एक्रूवल कॉन्सेप्ट के हिसाब से वी विल कंसिडर दिस अमाउंट एज अवर रेवेन्यू, बट बिकॉज अवर बैंक बैलेंस विल नॉट इंक्रीज, वी विल शो इट एज रिसीवेबल. बैंक से हमें इतना इंटरेस्ट मिलना है. So what will increase and what will decrease or something, what will happen in this transaction? Revenue earned but not received. What will increase and what will decrease? बताइए. If the question is clear, answer the question. We have deposited money in the bank. Every quarter bank gives us interest. On a particular quarter, it was supposed to be given to us on 31st March, but until 10th of April, we have received no intimation from bank that money has been given to us. How should this transaction be recorded? Like you do not still, I have not explained to you how to record the transaction. I have only explained to you which element of our equation is increasing or decreasing or what is happening in that. Asset, capital, liability, expense, revenue, इन पर क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है, किस पर क्या पड़ रहा है? Can somebody answer this question?
The capital will increase.
Okay. Capital means, capital का specific term है revenue will increase. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what is the name of that revenue? Interest. Revenue will increase. What will be the second effect?
So bank balance will increase.
But bank has not yet given us money.
Oh, yes.
Then what will increase?
Asset.
What is the name of that asset?
We can show the bank as
A bit louder. थोड़ा सा जोर से बोलो कुछ अगरा.
as a मतलब interest receivable. We can show that bank
as receivable.
Yes, sir.
As receivable. Interest receivable from bank.
Yes, sir.
तो पहला एलिमेंट क्या हुआ? रेवेन्यू. व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ दैट रेवेन्यू? इंटरेस्ट. तो अवर रेवेन्यू इज इंक्रीजिंग एंड नेम ऑफ दैट रेवेन्यू इज इंटरेस्ट. Our revenue increases because of sales. Our revenue increases because of several things. So in this particular transaction, our revenue is increasing because of interest, and secondly, receivable from bank is also increasing. So what is the effect on equation? One, asset has increased. On one side, you write asset increase. What is the second effect? Our revenue has increased. So revenue increase means our capital will increase. So on one side plus, on the other side also plus, our equation will remain balanced. Any other question if you have? If not, I'll move on to the next topic that we were supposed to discuss. We were on day 7. It was slightly, one small thing was left for completion. That was the second part, last line of the slide. Steps in recording business transactions I have explained to you based on accounting equation and conventional or traditional method. So this part we will take later. First, let us continue with part A, that how do we record business transactions which are based on accounting equation. So in the next slide, further details of it have been provided. So I will move on to the next slide. So recording business transactions based on accounting equation. This part I had explained to you in details. That is, every transaction will increase or decrease one or more element of the equation. In every transaction, either assets will increase twice, or once it is increasing, the other time decreasing. Any combination and permutation will happen. And I have illustrated it with the help of maybe 8 or 10 examples. I have given you 8 or 10 transactions yesterday and had asked you what is happening in case of each transaction, whether assets are increasing and liabilities are increasing, or assets are decreasing and capital is increasing. Like this, several examples were explained. So look at what I have written in red font. Think of more transactions keeping in mind the equation. So you have asked me certain transactions, I have explained to you. What steps are required? You identify which of the two or more elements are involved in a transaction. For example, the current explanation which I was giving you, what were the elements? One was revenue, the other was asset. So first step is to identify what are two elements of the equation, whether they are assets or asset and revenue and something like that. Then second step, check each one, increasing or decreasing. For example, revenue increasing, asset increasing in the current example. Third, apply rules. Now this is the thing that you are listening for the first time. Until yesterday, we have not talked about. What are the rules? If asset increases, you can note down these rules. If asset increases, we debit. If assets increases, we debit. That is, we abbreviate it as debit. So increase in asset is debited. Now asset either will increase or asset will decrease. So what happens if asset decreases?
So credit.
It will be credited. Write down the second rule. First rule, what have you written? Increase in asset will be debited. Second rule, decrease in asset will be credited. Decrease in asset will be credited. Now, it is almost okay. Decrease in asset will be credited. Now, what are the other elements of equation? Asset is there, then second is capital. Now, capital will increase or decrease. So, if capital increases, what do you do?
Debit.
Credit.
Why credit? Because it is lying on the opposite side of equation.
Yes, sir.
So if capital increases, credit. Third rule. Fourth rule, if capital decreases,
Debit.
debit, because it is opposite to each other. All right. Now fifth rule, rule number 5. If liability increases,
Credit.
credit. And if liability decreases,
Debit.
So in all, how many rules have you written?
6.
6. How many rules do you need to remember? 6 or less than 6?
3.
3 rules.
2. Or
Say 2.
2. Okay. I am posting a question in the chat box. you write your answer, but before you write your answer, write your 3 digits of your roll number. 3 digits of your roll number. If there are someone who still have not got the roll number, let them write their enrollment number. Are the instructions clear? The answer of question that you need to give me is, you will write the answer, see the question whenever it's posted. But before you write that answer, before that you write 3 digits of your roll number and a dash, just to differentiate between the answer, the question I'm posting. I have posted a question. You answer the question the way I have explained. Write your roll number followed by dash and then answer. For example, correct. You are all writing correctly 261, but 261 has not mentioned a dash. 281, like, okay, good.
Sir, can you repeat the last point, second last point? If the liability decreases, then it is credited, right?
No, if liability decreases, it is to be debited.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So kindly elaborate the second rule that is related to capital.
If capital increases, it is to be debited. If capital increases, it is to be credited, sorry. And if capital it decreases, it is debited. Decrease
Okay,
in
sir.
capital, debited. Have you all written? Or should
Yes,
I-
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I'll evaluate it later. The purpose was to, record your attendance also in this way. So whosoever has written will be marked as present. Okay, we move ahead now. So we have applied. What we will do if we are to write a transaction now, we will abbreviate them in terms of debit and credit. How do we do it? We have a transaction. We have analyzed what is increasing, what is decreasing. So applying rules, we will debit or credit. In the subsequent slide, it has been explained in details. Now look at the transaction number 1. The transaction reads it very clearly that he started business with capital. Is that right? He started business with capital of rupees 1 lakh. So what are the two effects?
So capital increase.
So increase in cash and increase in capital.
Increase in capital and increase in asset.
Yes, yes, sir.
Increase in capital and increase in asset. So now I have written here serial number 1, like 1A. First effect is our asset is increasing by 1 lakh. What is the second effect? Effect B, our capital is increasing by 1 lakh. So equation is balanced. On left hand side 1 lakh, on right side 1 lakh. Now we apply rule and write D or C. D say debit. Asset increase is to be debited, so we have written DR. Capital increase is credited, so we have written CR. So in accounting language, we can say cash debit and capital credit. Isn't it? In accounting language, what can we say? Cash debit and capital credit.
Account. Yes, sir.
Take the second example. Deposited 20,000 in bank. What is happening? Cash balance is decreasing.
And
bank-
asset is increasing.
Balance is in
Cash
Bank
balance.
balance.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
good,
Bank
good.
balance.
Cash balance is
decrease.
just 1 second. Yes, go ahead. It was a mistake. I corrected. You are right. Very good. Keep an eye. By mistake, in error, something wrong might have been written, not innocently, not deliberately. By mistake, so you immediately point it out. And at times, maybe after 2-3 days, I will write something wrong also on this slide deliberately, just to ensure that you are seriously looking at this slide, not merely sitting here. Your physical, presence is not that important as your mental presence is. So have a look at this slide, and if you find something wrong, do let me know. Okay, so let me complete the explanation of the second transaction. I was explaining deposited money in bank. So your cash, which is asset, is decreasing, therefore it will be credited. Your another asset, bank, increasing, it will be debited. So you have equation as balanced. 1 minus 20, 1 plus 20 on both sides of equation, it remains balanced. If you need to ask anything, okay, else I will go on to the next slide.
सर 2B स्टेप में बता दो ये +20,000 वाला.
प्लस 20,000 कैसे हुआ? ठीक, आपने बैंक में पैसा जमा किया तो कैश
Yes,
तो आपका
sir.
डिक्रीज हो गया. दूसरा इफेक्ट क्या हुआ? बैंक बैलेंस आपका इंक्रीज हुआ या डिक्रीज हुआ?
Increase.
इंक्रीज हुआ. तो बैंक बैलेंस क्या है? असेट है. लाइबिलिटी कैपिटल क्या है?
Sir assets.
असेट इंक्रीज हो रही. इंक्रीज इन असेट इज टू बी डेबिटेड. देखिए लास्ट कॉलम, देखिए टेबल का लास्ट कॉलम, रिमार्क्स. कैश रिड्यूस्ड, तो क्या हुआ? कैश अकाउंट हमारा क्रेडिट हो जाएगा. बैंक बैलेंस इंक्रीज्ड, तो बैंक अकाउंट हमारा डेबिट हो जाएगा. जो रूल क्या है? इंक्रीज इन एसेट इज टू बी डेबिटेड. ठीक,
Yes sir.
ये बात क्लियर हो गई ना?
Yes sir.
Okay. Now we move on to the second continuation. Suppose we purchase goods for sale for cash rupees 30,000. तो दो इफेक्ट क्या हैं? पहला इफेक्ट तो क्लियर है कि if you are buying goods for cash, if a company is buying goods for cash, its cash balance decreases. ठीक है, क्लियर है बात?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cash is an asset which is decreasing, therefore it will be credited. What is the second effect?
So asset is increasing.
Asset increase.
अच्छा, अगर आप इसको असेट मानते हैं, आई विल एक्सप्लेन, डोंट वरी, आई विल एक्सप्लेन. सपोज आप इसको असेट मानते हैं कि गुड्स आपका इंक्रीज हो रहा है, ठीक है ना? और आप
So
इसको ये
capital
लिखते जो,
machine.
ओके, अगर आप ये लिखते, होल्ड ऑन, 1 मिनट रुकिए. सपोज यू कंसीडर परचेज ऑफ गुड्स एट दैट गुड्स आर इंक्रीजिंग, गुड्स आर अवर असेट. तो ईच टाइम यू बाई गुड्स यू विल इंक्रीज असेट, ईच टाइम यू सेल गुड्स यू विल डिक्रीज असेट. यही तो करेंगे ना आप?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. If you continue doing so, how will you calculate profit? Profit is equal to
Asset minus.
Selling price.
Revenue.
Selling price minus
Cost
cost price.
or in accounting terminology, profit is equal to revenue minus expenses.
revenue.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Revenue minus expenses. तो इस पूरे आपके प्रोसेस में आपने 1000 मरतबा, 10,000 मरतबा, 100 मरतबा सामान खरीदा और बेचा. हर मरतबा आपने प्लस असेट माइनस असेट कर दिया. तो इस पूरे प्रोसेस में रेवेन्यू की फिगर तो जीरो होगी, एक्सपेंसेस की फिगर भी नहीं होगी कुछ. तो आप कैसे प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेट करेंगे? Therefore, goods purchased is considered as an expense and goods sales is considered as revenue. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Each
sir.
Yes,
time
sir.
you purchase goods, it is your expense. That is why I have written under the heading of expenses. किस हेडिंग के नीचे लिखा है? एक्सपेंसेस के. एंड एक्सपेंसेस यू नो रिड्यूस कैपिटल. पहली स्लाइड में बता चुके हैं, एक्सपेंसेस रिड्यूस कैपिटल. तो देयरफॉर योर कैपिटल विल बी रिड्यूस्ड and the heading of that one will be purchases. Reduction in capital will be debited. Earlier effect was that your asset is decreasing and name of that asset is cash, so decrease in asset will be credited. So 30,000 credit, name of the head is cash. 30,000 debit, name of the expenses, name of the head is purchase. So purchase debit, cash credit, and both sides of equation are balanced because minus 30 on one side and minus 30 on the other side. If you have any question, ask me. Or if you find something wrong in this slide, don't tell in the class, post me privately if you find something wrong in this slide right now. Before I proceed, if you find any mistake in this slide, you take about a minute or two and post on my private number.
Sir, can you repeat it? Can you repeat the third one again?
You have purchased goods for rupees 30,000. So first effect is clear that your cash has decreased by 30,000 and therefore it will be credited. Is this part clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, second part. Purchase of goods is considered as an expense. Purchase of goods is classified as an expense.
Yes, sir.
Expenses reduce capital. Reduction in capital will be debited.
Okay.
So if you could have point out something, can you or has no? I have not received any message from anyone. I will explain what is wrong here. No, in the third question, the sign of minus is there. No, it's still not. A very common error which appears on this slide is no. Instead of no. On the table side, we purchase furniture, but it is recorded as an asset. Hold on here, Adil. It's very important that Adil has written, although it is incorrect. On the second table, we purchased furniture, but it is recorded as an asset. Can't you differentiate between furniture and asset? Furniture and purchase. What is furniture? Furniture is your asset because you will use it for more than one accounting period. But purchase of goods is not your asset, it is expense because
You bought it on credit.
Yes, you will sell it several times. Roll number 21 MBA 107 Karan is writing that just one second. Let me check. In a sort of capital, purchase will be debited. Yes, purchase will be debited, correct. Purchases will be debited. Now the error that each one of you could have pointed out, each one of you, whether you are from accounting or engineering or medicine or wherever, you can see the movement of cursor.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is this serial number?
Third.
Sir, both
Three.
are third.
What this should have been?
Fourth.
Fourth.
Do you require or did you require any rocket science for this study?
No, sir.
No, sir.
You should have simply told me. But anyhow, the discussion that took place, several of you have answered. So right now I'll not be spending time on that. Right now I'll proceed, but I'll explain to you why your answers were incorrect. Because these answers everyone does not know. So I'll post these answers in the group and then I'll explain either in the group or in the classroom, Google Classroom, why these answers were incorrect, or wherever you have made a correct, observation, I'll write that also. Because you do not know what others have written. So let me make a note of it that I need to clarify your answers. Because after the class we tend to forget. I also forget, but I am making a note. Clarify the answers. Post it privately. So first I will post what others have said and then accordingly, right or wrong, I'll explain. So now we come to the fourth transaction. What is the fourth transaction? Purchased furniture for rupees 10,000 for cash, rupees 20,000 by check, and rupees 30,000 on credit from Indian Furniture Store. So you are buying furniture in all for how many rupees?
60,000.
60,000.
60,000. In total, you are right. 60,000, you are all right. 60,000 you are buying the furniture for. The furniture is your asset, which is increasing by 60,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
No further.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no further help is needed. So you have bought furniture for rupees 60,000. So furniture is your asset, which is increasing. Therefore, it will be debited.
Debited.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Furniture you have debited
Yes,
for
sir.
rupees.
Yes, sir.
Just one second. I am just trying to so that we can write everything here itself. Furniture will be debited. Now, what is the second effect?
So cash will credit.
Cash
Cash will
balance.
reduce.
Yes, sir. Cash will
Furniture for
reduce.
cash for rupees 10,000.
Cash will be
So rupees
credited.
10,000 worth cash has gone down. So cash is your asset, which is decreasing. It will be credited.
Credited.
What is the next effect?
The bank
Bank
balance.
balance.
Bank
Bank
balance also
balance
credited.
For
is
20,000 in
credited.
bank, so your bank balance will decrease. Bank balance asset
Credited.
decreasing. Therefore, it will be
Credited.
credited. What is the fourth effect?
So
Credit
credit
has increased.
liability will increase.
You have bought on credit from Indian Furniture Store. So when you buy something on credit, the liability increases. Your
Yes,
liability
sir.
is increasing by rupees 30,000. Therefore, liability will be credited.
Credited.
What name will you credit? Indian Furniture Store. What name will you debit? Bank. What name will you credit? Cash. What name will you debit? Furniture. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just one second. One student is seeking this link for the class. I have already sent long ago. Just one second. Let me check. Okay, let me just send this link to someone who is asking. Let me just send link to, I don't remember, I need to go to the classroom and find out the link and will send. Okay, we proceed. Now you look at the transaction number 4 and see whether the equation is balanced or not. Equation is balanced.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. It is balanced.
Okay. Debit is equal to credit.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Debit is equal to credit. Just give me a second. Somebody recently admitted is asking for a code. So I'm just sending QIS. Then OWNK. Acha, can this link which we have created in the classroom be customized also? If any one of you has any idea about it, the code is created automatically by the Google Meet. Can
No,
we?
sir, it can't.
It can't be. Okay. Otherwise, we would have put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody would have remembered it. If it cannot be done, fine. You need to remember it only. No. That right now I have posted. But one of you can try to find out if it is possible. Like in Zoom, you can change the password. You can choose a password of your choice once it is created. So here in Google, just see if it is possible. Otherwise, no, you just need to remember it only once.
So Google provide us classroom, not we take it.
In the classroom, it can be done.
Yes.
No, sir.
But
Sir,
anyway,
Google
let us not. Okay,
Sir,
try. Let
Google
us not.
provide us classroom. So
Let us not
it's
waste
up to
time.
Google.
Google. Okay, let us not waste our time here. You try to find out on your own at a later stage. If it is possible, you suggest me. I'll try to manage. So this is the 4th transaction. You agree with that one. Okay, we go on to the next one. Next one, 5th one. Sold goods for rupees 50,000 in such a way that cash 10,000, check 15,000, and on credit for 25,000. Now, when you are selling for 50,000, what is the first effect? One of the
The
effects.
credit.
Your
The
revenue,
The revenue increase.
your revenue is increasing by rupees 50,000.
Yes, sir.
If your revenue is increasing by 50,000, we have written here in the revenue column, and what shall we credit? We shall credit sales,
Sales.
because revenue increase capital and name of this revenue is sales. So our sales is increasing by 50, so plus 50,000 we have written, or credit 50,000. What is the next effect? Our cash
So cash will decrease.
decrease or increase?
The cash will
Cash will
increase.
increase, that's why we have
Sir,
debited.
increase.
Will be,
So increase.
therefore it will be debited. Your bank balance is increasing or decreasing?
Increasing, that's why we are
Increasing.
What is the last effect? This
debtors
20,000.
will arise, so it will increase the debtors column.
This will
So
Yes,
increase.
assets.
This will increase, and what is the name of this asset?
So debtors.
Debtors.
It is written as debtors, but it is pronounced as debtors. B is silent here. So what is the name of this asset? Debtors.
Debtors.
And within debtors, a specific name is
Mentioned.
So
mentioned the
XYZ.
name. That is
XYZ.
XYZ. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Look at the transaction fifth once again at the screen. Try to analyze and let me know if any part of this is not clear to you. If it is clear, we move on to the sixth transaction. Paid rupees 20,000 to IFS in cash. Now, one effect which is very simple, that you are paying 20,000 rupees cash, your cash balance is decreasing, and cash is your asset. Decrease in asset is to be credited.
Credited.
What is the second effect?
So decrease in liabilities.
IFS, where your liability is decreasing. So decrease in liability will be
Debited.
debited. Decrease in see, they are just opposite to each other. So
Yes, sir.
decrease in asset if we credit, then decrease in liability has to be debit. And what is the name of this liability?
Creditors.
IFS.
Yes. No, you are right,
Debtors.
creditors. You are right, creditors. But there are several creditors. So shall
So
we write
IFS.
creditor or shall we write a specific name?
So IFS.
Creditors IFS.
Yes. No, better write only IFS.
Yes, IFS.
And
IFS.
see, in real life, I'll tell you in real life what happens. You continue writing IFS, ABCD, etc., etc. And in real life, what happens? Everything will be written on a piece of paper or in a statement. And total, let us say, debtors are or total creditors are 1 lakh. So they will write total creditors as per statement A. Statement A will have details. In the name of ABC, so many rupees. In the name of XYZ, so many rupees. In the name of LMNO, so many rupees. And total will be 1 lakh. Same will hold good for debtors. Same will hold good for creditors. And they further analyze. In case of debtors, for example, they will write how many are outstanding for less than 1 month, how many are outstanding for more than 1 month, for more than 6 months, more than a year, how many are good, how many are doubtful, something like that. They will have further classification. But broadly, it will be taken as asset. Within asset, it will be taken as debtors. Within debtors, there will be specific names. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any question up to this stage? No. So should I move on to the next transaction?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead. Who is there
Sir,
to ask? Can you just name yourself?
Sir, Karan.
Karan, go ahead, Karan, बताओ. जरा अपना
Sir, in
वीडियो
the-
ऑन करो.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
हाँ, Karan.
Yes, sir. Just,
हाँ, वीडियो ऑन
sir,
करो, बताओ.
sir, in the last question, like where there's this question: sold goods for 50,000. Cash rupees
Which
10,000.
one you are referring to? Transaction number 5, fifth
Yes,
one.
yes,
हाँ,
sir.
बताइए.
Sir, I didn't understand the last point, the debtor one. 25,000 sold.
अच्छा, ठीक. Hold. When you sell goods to somebody on credit, the person pays you after some time, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. What is that person called? Debtor.
Sir, debtors. Yeah.
What is it in terms of asset, capital, liability, or expense or revenue?
Then asset.
Asset, correct. Your asset is increasing. And what is the name of that asset? Debtor. What is a specific name of that asset? XYZ.
Yes,
Increase in asset will be debited.
sir, but it is written minus 25,000. No,
Minus 25,000. Wait, hold on. Let me check. You are right. Let me see. No, minus, it is plus 25,000. Where is minus 25,000? 5D. Serial number 5D is plus 25,000, isn't it? Or do you see it minus? Karan?
It is okay. Yes, sir, you're right.
Okay, maybe some typing, maybe some visibility problem at that level. Okay, now we come to the sixth I have explained. Sixth I have explained, or yes. Now we go to seventh one. Received rupees 15,000 from XYZ, 5,000 in cash and 10,000 through check. Now one effect which is very clear, that we are receiving 15,000 from XYZ, 5 in the form of cash. Our cash is increasing by 5,000. Cash is an asset increasing, therefore it will be debited. What is the second effect?
Bank balance.
You are receiving.
Bank balance.
You are receiving. Just 1 second. Let me increase it. You are receiving 10,000 from them as a check. Your bank balance is increasing. So increase in asset will be debited. What is the third effect?
Sir, our asset is decreasing.
Debtor.
Your debtors are decreasing. Your debtors are asset.
Debtors.
Your asset is decreasing, and decrease in asset will be credited. So minus 15,000 credit plus 10,000 debit plus 5,000 debit. So two debits of 5 and 10 each makes one credit of 15,000. Equation is balanced. Debit and credit also match. Debit is equal to a credit. Look at the transaction once again for a few seconds and let me know if anything you have not understood. Shall I move on to 8th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Paid for salaries 10,000, electricity 5,000 in cash. In all, how much cash you are paying?
15,000.
15,000.
So 15,000 is your cash. Cash is your asset, which is decreasing. Therefore, it will be
Credited.
Credited.
good. Now, what is the second effect?
10,000 salary.
Expenses increasing.
What is salary and electricity both?
Both are expenses.
Both are expenses. Expenses reduce your capital. Reduction in capital is debited. Now both will be debited. So two debits of 10,000 and 5,000 each respectively equals to one credit of rupees 15,000. So your equation is also balanced because minus 15 on the other side and minus 15 on left hand side and right side both. Debit is also equal to credit. Is this clear, or you need any explanation here?
So clear.
Clear. We go on to the next slide. Okay, next slide. Deposited 10,000 in bank and earned interest of rupees 1,000. When you deposit 1,000 in bank, your cash decreases, so asset decrease, it will be credited.
Yes, sir.
When you deposit 10,000 in bank, your bank balance increases, so increase in asset will be
Debited.
True. Third effect,
So interest
Interest rate.
Revenue
revenue is increasing.
increases.
I have written it wrongly in this column. It should be under the heading of revenue.
Revenue increases.
Revenue increase. So if revenue is increasing, it will be credited.
Credited.
And what will happen in the fourth transaction? There will be a fourth one also.
So asset is also
Your
increasing.
asset is also increasing by 10,000 because your bank balance will increase. So equation is balanced or not? Both sides are equal. Equation is balanced. Any explanation required, or should I proceed? especially the students from non-commerce background should seek clarification, because for the people from commerce it's not that difficult. It is, they have done it for several times, 3 years continuously. For them it is not that difficult, but you should seek a clarification in case there is anything which you have not understood. Okay, any question up to that stage, or shall I proceed? So now look at the 10th transaction. Check received from XYZ, returned dishonored. What do we do? You know the effect of dishonor of a check. What are the effects of dishonoring a check?
So बैंक बैलेंस डिक्रीज हो जाएगा.
बैंक बैलेंस डिक्रीज हो जाएगा. इसलिए डिक्रीज हो जाएगा कि when we deposited check in the bank, we assumed that our bank balance will increase.
Increase, yes sir.
But
Yes,
later
sir.
on we came to know it has not happened. So we will make another entry for that.
Yes sir.
और क्या इफेक्ट हो सकता है चेक डिक्रीज होने का? सॉरी, चेक
सर डेटर्स हो जाएंगे.
पे करेगा हमें लेटर स्टेज पे. ठीक है. और क्या इफेक्ट होता है अगर चेक बाउंस हो जाए तो?
नोटिंग चार्जेस पे करने पड़ते हैं.
सर पेनल्टी पे करने पड़ते हैं. ठीक है. नहीं कि बैंक हमसे कुछ चार्ज करता है, वो हमें पे करना पड़ता है. ठीक है. वो कौन पे करता है? हम पे करते हैं या जिसने दिया था वो पे करता?
डेटर.
डेटर पे.
लेकिन उसे तो कुछ पता ही नहीं कि उसका चेक डिसऑनर हो गया.
पहले हमारे अकाउंट से कट जाएगा, फिर हम बाद में डेटर से ज्यादा
जी बिल्कुल ठीक. पहले आपके अकाउंट से कट जाएगा, फिर आप उससे क्लेम करें या ना करें, ये आपके अपने रिलेशंस पर डिपेंड करता है. ठीक है. और क्या इफेक्ट होगा अगर चेक बाउंस हुआ किसी का? तो बस यही इफेक्ट होंगे या इसका कुछ और आगे भी हो सकता?
So in layman language, it is an illegal offense.
Yes, very true, very true. It is illegal offense. It is a criminal offense. It is a criminal offense. उसको जिसने चेक जमा किया, सॉरी चेक दिया, लेकिन उसका चेक डिसऑनर हो गया, स्पेशली फॉर द रीजंस कि उसकी बैंक में पैसा नहीं था. कुछ ऐसी वजह से डिसऑनर होता है कि जिसमें गलती होती, गलती से डेट लिखना में गलती कर गए, अमाउंट्स वर्ड्स एंड फिगर्स में डिफरेंट हो गई, इनोसेंटली इफ इट इज एस्टैब्लिश्ड then it will be a slightly lesser punishment, but if it is known that there were no funds and still check has been issued, so it is a criminal offense. Now come to the accounting. So check received from XYZ, returned dishonored. आगे हमें नहीं मालूम कि बैंक ने कितना चार्ज किया था, कितना नहीं किया था, क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ, therefore we have not mentioned that. So what is happening, which is increasing? Number one, our bank balance is decreasing. We assumed that our bank balance will increase, but it has not increased, so we will credit that. Because our bank balance is decreasing, decrease in asset is to be credited, तो हमने credit कर दिया. What is the second effect?
Increase in assets like
What is
debtors.
the name of that asset?
XYZ debtors.
Debtors XYZ.
XYZ.
Broad asset is data. Sorry, asset. Within asset, debtors. Within debtors,
XYZ.
XYZ. So what is happening? Minus 10,000 plus 10,000. Equation is balanced, and debit is also equal to a credit. So in 10 transaction ko, what I would advise all of you, that you go through these transactions, especially those from commerce. Just one second, let me also make a note. Those of you who are, repeat, all these 10 transactions, those of you who are not from commerce, go through all of them again and again. Once you are satisfied, the debit credit has been correctly assigned, increase and decrease is also correct, equation is balanced. Once you are happy with, you are satisfied with all of them, is okay. If not, then you post your query in the group. Post your query, not personal number and not privately, but in the group, so that some of you could answer to each other. If your answers are correct, I'll keep quiet. The moment I realize that some wrong thing has been, answered or clarified, as soon as I get time, I'll post the clarification. So one aspect is that you do it. Now, before I discuss something else, or maybe look at the last transaction of this day. See, after the check is dishonored, what bank charges? What if the bank? What if bank charged? What if bank charged rupees 1,000 as interest from us? So now what you need to do, this I am leaving you as a homework. Think over it, what element of equation will increase, what element or elements of equation will decrease, what head of account will be debited, what head of account will be credited, what will happen to interest charged by the bank, which head of account will be debited, what will be credited in case of serial number 5 above. So what you need to do is think over it, and against each question write your answer. What element of equation will increase? What element of equation, or rather what elements of equation will increase? What elements of equation will decrease? Which head of account or accounts will be debited? Which of head of account or accounts will be credited? What will happen to interest charged by the bank? That is, what will you debit, what will you credit? What head of account will be debited and what will be credited in case of point number 5 above. Take your time and then do it. Now again, let me go back to the chat box and let me review the answers that you wrote. You all wrote 3, 2, just 1 second, let me quickly browse. 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2. Okay. Has any one of you written as 1 as an answer? You know what have you written? Come on. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Has any one of you written 1 as an answer? I doubt none of you has written.
No, sir. No, sir.
If I say that correct answer is 1, let me remind you again and again. When I ask you questions like this in the chat box, the purpose is not really to assign you marks and all. The purpose is to check how far have you understood. If you have not understood correctly, my job would be to explain it again. And secondly, it serves as your attendance. That is why I insist that you first write your roll number and then answer. Further, you should realize that when I ask you to follow a specific instruction, you please follow that instruction. See, like I am right, like 164, roll number 164 has written 1643. What I ask you to do, 164-3. Why I am doing so? Because individually attending to all these things becomes very difficult. I automate all these systems. So in the automation process, if no space is mentioned, if no dash is mentioned, you know what will happen. It will increase my job manifold. Like roll number 112 has written 112 space 2. What was Akhil expected to do? 112-2. And within dash also space. You know the complexities of putting a dash or missing a dash or leaving a space or not leaving a space. You know the complexities of all these much better than me. So please follow the instructions religiously.